Yo, what is going on, guys? It is slimmyshankCoC back with another Clash of Clans video. Today talking about the strategies that consist of Gowiwi, GoWiPe, and finally my favorite, Wigowipe. All of them are very similar but also have many differences, and we are going to go over all of them. First, let's start off with the Gowiwi. We're going to talk about the pros and cons. First of all, the pros of Gowiwi: no P.E.K.K.A.s equals more wizards and wall breakers. The witches are a second meat shield, and finally, more wall breakers equals a guaranteed golem entrance. But the one con is that no P.E.K.K.A.s means you have to rely more on your heroes, and if your heroes screw up, you are definitely screwed for battle. So the first thing to consider is if you don't have any P.E.K.K.A.s, which means you basically have 75 more housing space since each P.E.K.K.A. is 25, that means you go to hold a ton of more wizards and a ton of more wall breakers, which then goes into our second spot. If you have more of those troops, you can also hold more witches. Your witches are your meat shield. A meat shield is troops that take all the hits. Barbs and archers. Your barbs are the meat shield. Golems and wizards. Your golems are the meat shield. This time you're going to have witches as your secondary meat shield after your golems die. And finally, since you're going to have more wall breakers, you can easily get to the center more, because since you have more wall breakers, you can now have easily 3 entrances for your golem instead of relying on 1 or 2 opening slots for your golem. So this is the most efficient way to get your troops to center. Not the most powerful hitting tactic squad, but definitely the most successful way to get your troops to the center. So if you just want to rush to a gold storage or an elixir storage that's right in the dead center, definitely use Gowiwi. So let's go over this attack as we resume our battle. Let's see what I do. So I see the clan castle, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lure out. So I brought in 4 hogs to lure out. Some people bring 2, but I don't know how they do that. All I could think of is lucky players or skilled players who only attack clan castles on the very outside. So what I'm doing now is I am baiting out the clan castle troops, which consists of archers and wizards. I'm going to place down my next barbarians as a meat shield, wizards in the back, witches finally in the back, and as you can see, we are just wrecking this guy's base. So let's go in more in depth to this attack and bring in our golem squad. Let's place 1 golem. Ooh, skeleton traps come out, 2 golem, and our final golem in the clan castle. We're going to place down some 2 wall breakers, which you can see is easy to get in there. Our third golem goes there, and you can see we have so many wall breakers. It is nuts. Now my wall breakers get through 1, not 1, but 2, not 2, but 3 entrances. Is they're still going into the battle. This is insane. They broke through 3 entrances. As you can see, like I said, Gowiwi is the most efficient way to get your troops to the center, because since you have more wizards and more wall breakers, you just clear out all the surrounding buildings and get all your troops to the center, especially with that extra jump spell. It's fantastic. So as you can see right now, I attacked from the top of the base because the bottom is sort of not a southern teaser base, but it sort of was like one where they wanted you to attack from the bottom, and I have attacked from the bottom, and it's not good. So right now, as you can see, our witches are secondary meat shield, as they just did die. Oh, sorry about the lag. This was actually a raid at school, and our Wi-Fi basically sucks. But our witches were our second meat shield, as they created skeletons. You can see all those skeletons. The defenses didn't know where to go. The witches' skeletons were creating chaos for the defense, and it just was a massacre for the defense. So this raid was perfect. As you can see, I got the 2-star. 2 trophies is actually a lot at 3,600, so I'll take that any day. And now all we have left is 2 wizards, a barb, and I think 2 golems. Gowiwipe blows up. Our wizards are still in the battle, surviving. Oh, we have an archer going for the gold mine. This raid couldn't have gone better. The only thing that could have gone better is if I got the 100%. And actually, all we had left was to take out were the defenses of 2 cannons, I think 1 mortar, 2 hidden Teslas. But I'm just going to surrender and get 2 trophies. So anyways, Gowiwi is always the way to go. Let's move on to our next one. Alright, so as we pause our attack and look at the GoWiWiPe pros, we have P.E.K.K.A.s do massive damage, which is true. More firepower than any other ground attack that I could ever think of. And 1 P.E.K.K.A. on a rage is better than a hero on a rage. I'll talk about that in a second, but the one GoWiWiPe con is since you have more P.E.K.K.A.s, that's going to leave you with less wizards, which is going to make it much more difficult to get to the center, but if you can't get to the center, that is deadly. Alright, so when I mean P.E.K.K.A.s do massive damage, I mean they do massive damage. Go up to any building, take them 3 to 4 hits. On a rage spell, 1 to 2 hits. More firepower than any other ground attack. You have the Wigowipe, which also consists of a P.E.K.K.A., but since you have to bring a witch or a few witches, that takes away another P.E.K.K.A. So this is the most powerful, most awesome army to bring if you just want to swipe out everything, most exclusive, most powerful attack there is. But that doesn't mean it's the best. It's up to you to figure out what's the best. I mean, it's all an opinion, preference. And one P.E.K.K.A. on a rage is better than a hero on a rage. So let's say you put a P.E.K.K.A. on a rage and a hero on a rage. If you put them right next to the town hall, it is proven, and I've actually done this before, or you could see on other videos, that if you put a P.E.K.K.A. on a rage, count the amount of hits it takes for a Barb King to do it on a rage spell, or even his Iron Fist, and then a P.E.K.K.A. on a rage spell. It's actually faster if you have a P.E.K.K.A. on a rage spell than a hero on a rage spell. And that can make a difference between the win and a loss, because have you ever had it where there's 1 inch left in the town hall? P.E.K.K.A. level 5 is better than a 40 king on that matter. But again, when I said less wizards make it hard to reach the center, that also could be a factor, so you might not even make it to the center. So be cautious of the bases you attack, and the cons won't even be there anymore. Just be careful on your GoWiWiPe attacks, and let's review the next raid. And now let's move on to the next attack as I'm luring out with the Hog Riders. Perfect position as there was only a P.E.K.K.A., not a Golem. So the last time I actually did a raid, the Golem exploded some of my troops, but this is good because there's only a P.E.K.K.A. This guy was probably preparing an attack, and he didn't attack and he went on defense, so that's what I would think, because he also has a wizard in there, including a barbarian. So what's lure out is that Archer Tower barely snatches my barbarian, and same with the Morton Wizard Tower, but we could barely just make it enough to drag him to the corner. Place a few wizards, that should do the job, as we place 3 more behind for backup support so they don't just get blown out by that one wizard. Gonna place 2 wall breakers there, doesn't get open. 1 more there, still doesn't get open. 2 more, 3 more on the other side, perfect. Gets 2 compartments open, and I don't need the third because the third one is basically near the Archer Tower and that doesn't have a wall. So you can say I'm gonna place 1 golem, 2 golem, and finally our third one in the clan castle. So there's gonna be a few archers to distract, and that is going to work out perfectly. Going to spread out my wizards, 4 on each side, and then I just place my P.E.K.K.A.s right near the Archer Tower, and they're all going to go to the center, which is perfect. So the wall breaker, that is a fail, but as always, we do have a jump spell, so I'm going to use a jump spell. And right here, since there was no wizards, it really didn't matter, but everyone in this whole entire compartment is going to use that jump spell, which is just what you want. And this is my favorite moment in the game, since there's no more clan troops, everyone just hops to the center, and that's just what you want. Perfect raid. So now, Archer Queen's going for that, and she is easily going to get the job done, as I don't even need to use her ability. Look at that. That was perfect. We're going to get the 1 star so far, and now we're just looking for the 2 star. So as I take out that multi-target Infernal Tower, my Queen is still going up, is the skeleton traps pop out, but not that much distraction, is a lot of troops can just one-shot them. Actually, I'm pretty sure every troop can one-shot them, besides maybe archers, I don't know. But they're really easy to beat. And now we're at 56%, and now all we're hoping for is a perfect 3-star. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll just have to find out. So as we're at 63%, 65, 66, 67, 68, 67, 70. Alright, so right now we're at 70%, so that means we have to get a building once every, like, 1.5 seconds, which is not looking like the case at the moment, since there is 1 P.E.K.K.A. still alive, barely making it with barely any health left. The Queen is going for the gold mines on the outside, as we're at 86%, 20 seconds left. The golems are all going towards the other side. I use the Queen's ability to speed up things. The P.E.K.K.A. is going for that elixir collector, gold mine now. Ooh, giant bomb pops out, doesn't hit any of my suit stuff is making me tired, but we did get 94%. Good raid overall. Now let's move to the final attack. Alright, now our final one is, of course, probably my favorite, and it is the Wigowipe. So let's pause it right here. Wigowipe pros. Army holds both P.E.K.K.A.s in which. Very tankful team with P.E.K.K.A.s behind you. And the highest success rate at 3-star victory, but the only con is that it is extremely limited on wizards, causing you to place golems very close to one another. But if you can get these troops to the center, most deadliest thing possible, even more deadlier than the GoWiWiPe, I'd say. But the only thing is, it's very difficult to do that. But if you can manage to do that, then you can manage to do anything. So when I say the army holds both P.E.K.K.A.s and witches, that means you have your P.E.K.K.A.s, which do a lot of damage, but you also have your witches, which, like I said before, are your secondary meat shields. Very takeful team with P.E.K.K.A.s behind you, kind of like how I said before, but also they're kind of like heroes, so you basically have 2 extra heroes or 3 extra heroes, and then high success rate at a 3-star victory, because as well as you have your P.E.K.K.A.s behind you, you also have your secondary meat shield, which will help you get that 3-star. So let's move into the attack, as I am luring out the troops with my golems. There's a dragon there, which is going to cause a lot of damage. So let's see what I can do. At this moment, I'm not panicked, but I'm like, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to attack from this side. As I go towards the army camp, this sort of looked like the base before, so you can see the archer tower is going to snap me off right there. The wizard tower wasn't there, though. Alright, so now, I'm luring out all the troops, as I place down my 2 barbs is the meat shield, some wizards is the meat shield, and the witches' skeletons is the meat shield. So we have a lot of meat shields right here, and now all we have to do is take out this dragon. I want to get this pesky dragon out of the way, as it isn't going to do that much damage. I just want to get out of the way because it is a huge because it is a huge distraction. And so now let's bring in our wall breakers. So as you can see, that's why I had to place my golems close to each other, because there was barely any wizards that I had. So as you can see, this is going to affect me, because as I place down my P.E.K.K.A.s, as you can see, they're actually going to go to the outside. Now, luckily, my queen was going to be smart enough, and as she goes for this elixir storage, she's going to go back to the center after she goes for that. So I got very lucky there, and this raid turned out to be successful, but it's a hit or miss whether or what happens with your queen. So don't blame me if your queen acts all weird, because this is a hit or miss strategy. Especially if you have limited wizards. But if you can get it to work, I highly advise you to use it. But if your queen, like I said before, doesn't go to the center, don't blame me, guys. But those are all the pros and cons for each strategy. So if you're just looking to get to the center, that's all you want to do. Use Gowiwi.